All right, we're back, lookers. Normal time. And for Tyler, your new normal place, as you can see, he's all settled in. No cell phone service going on. He's got the new setup. How's it feel, T?
It feels a lot better than sitting on the porch listening to mosquitoes next to your face and radiators or air conditioners going off on and off constantly. It's nice and cozy. Got a new desk. Had to condense it a little bit from the old one, but it works. It fits. I'm ready to ball out. Ready to get some podcasts going and Thirsty Thursdays and Monday
Hmm.
Night Gamings.
Hmm. All the good stuff. I love to hear it. So we have a pretty good episode planned, I believe, Tyler. Some good topics. Obviously, we still got the March Madness going on, which we'll probably touch that first. Some new NFL news. A little bit of baseball news. I don't know if you saw the DM I sent you on Instagram not too long ago.
I have your DMs alerted.
Okay.
I get that buzz that goes zzz, 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 zzz.
See, I don't have my
Just
Instagram notifications on, so if you sent me
oh,
something, I might not have seen it unless you said it. Um, but yeah, we'll
it's
touch on that.
that makes a lot of sense because I've sent you stuff and you haven't responded in days, and I'm like, okay, I see where I stand.
Yeah, TikTok, Instagram, and Tinder, I do not have notifications on.
That is weird. Why not Tinder?
Just kind of make it a little surprising. Like, I don't want to be waiting like, oh, they didn't match with me. But then it's like when I open up the app and I see a little red dot next to the messages tab, it's a nice little surprise.
It's a little nice, what do they call it? Dopamine. Like you get a little
Yeah.
burst of energy. But I mean, my question then is, when you're having a conversation with a chick on Tinder, right?
Yep.
Or guy, 2021,
Hmm.
um, wouldn't you want a notification, for that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, if I know I'm in a conversation that I kind of want to engage in promptly or whatnot, I'll keep checking it. But you know me, T. I'm a quick worker. I move quick. It's usually on the Snapchat within a few
Oh,
minutes. So
oh,
we're
he's
not
got
on
the
Tinder long.
he's got the Snapchat private stories going.
Whoa, gotta love me some private stories. All right, T. Let's get into it. Still the main topic of discussion going on right now, the March Madness tournament. Did you watch both those games this weekend?
I actually missed the Baylor Houston game. I mean, I'm glad I did though. If there's one game that I'm glad I saw was obviously Gonzaga versus UCLA. I was out at the beach and I got the alert from ESPN. It was like, oh, Baylor routs Houston by 20 plus points. And I was like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Houston team, like we said, was that strong. Last episode, I knew Baylor was going to be a tough team to beat. And I predicted it: Baylor versus Gonzaga in the championship. So
Well, what's his name? I have it pulled up here. Our boy Dejan Giroux. I
yeah,
mean,
he
he was
balled
just
out.
no. He was a ghost. He had 6 points in 32 minutes.
Well, who then balled out? Because I got
Uh,
misinformation.
Number zero, Marcus Sasser, a guard,
Sasser's decent.
39 minutes, almost the whole game, dropped 20. Quentin Grimes had 13. Other than that, I mean, we had Justin Gorham with 3, Reggie Chaney with 6, Giroux with 6. Fabian White only had four
Yeah, I was about to
points.
say, what about him?
Yeah, so really no one else helped out. And then on the other end, your boy Flo Thamba, he only had 4. But I mean, you got Davion Mitchell with 12, Jared Butler 17. I'm gonna say Macio. It's MACCIO. Teague had 11. Jonathan.
What about Mayer?
Wow. Chamwa Chachucha. I just butchered the fuck out of that. He had 11, and then Matthew Mayer with 12. So I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in double digits. Tyler, a lot more of a supporting cast. Obviously, Mayer coming off the bench. He's been productive throughout this whole tournament.
Mayer's my boy, dude. Only guy that rocks a mullet and can hit a 3 in your face in the NCAA tournament. But I'm not surprised. Davion Mitchell, we were talking about it a little bit in previous podcasts. They call him lights out for a reason. I'm not surprised that he shut down Giroux or wherever he was guarding. I mean, nobody on Houston really took over from from me hearing it, but tonight's going to be an interesting game. I think Baylor, that they needed that route in order to kind of maybe feel like they have a chance against Gonzaga.
Yeah, I mean, definitely rolling into the championship game with some momentum. Obviously, having that much of a win, winning by what was it, almost 20 points, 19 points, having that momentum carrying into the national title game, that bodes well in their favor. You were right. I was wrong. I'll put my hand up on that. I thought Houston might come in with I thought they had more firepower. Tyler, if I'm being honest with you, Baylor definitely a more well-rounded team, but I thought Houston could kind of be that sneaky team that might get hot at the right time. Again, I was wrong. Hand up for that one. The other matchup we had, Tyler, an instant classic, which you watch. I fell asleep. I played. Not only did I just play, I walked 18 holes and I drank not quite 18 seltzers, but we were close to a drink a hole. So I was a little bit tired. I had to get a nice little siesta, if you will, which then caused me to be up all night. But anyways, 93-90. Tyler, you saw it. I'll let you talk about it. What'd you think of this game?
Absolutely electric game, and I kind of had a feeling this game was going to be like that. Two high-scoring teams that know how to get to the rim, know how to get easy buckets for themselves. Not great defense, if I must say so myself. Obviously, letting up 90 and 93 points respectively. Johnny Juzang proved my point exactly last episode.
He's a baller. He's a baller.
He's a fucking hooper. He's going to the NBA draft for sure. Top 10 pick. He's smooth with it. He definitely kept them in that game. Tiger Campbell for UCLA, the point guard with dreads, absolutely kept them into the game defensively and offensively as well. It's just when I was watching the game, I started watching it 15 minutes into the second half, and Gonzaga knew what they had that UCLA didn't have, and that was Timmy. They had Timmy in the post. They were feeding him the rock left and right. He was just outpowering dudes. He took the momentum out of a lot of possessions for UCLA, just being that much bigger. And then obviously the go-ahead three-pointer to win the game, absolutely electric. I knew that shot was going in as soon as it left his wrist. You could just kind of tell. It was just very smooth. And honestly, probably one of the best basketball games I've ever seen in my life. It's definitely up there. I can't think of a better game than that.
It's an instant classic, back and forth. To have such a wild finish like that, you get the tying bucket with under 10 seconds left, then to come down, hit a half-court buzzer beater. Yeah, I mean, easily I'd have to go on a limb, Tyler, and say two of the top 5, definitely 10. I'd say top 5 players with Juzang and then Suggs, who didn't even have a crazy game. He had 16 points. Joel Ayayi had 22. Timmy dropped 25. A lot of big man points, Tyler, down the paint. Kispert adding 15. But yeah, I don't know about you. Obviously, I didn't follow the team of Gonzaga that closely this year, but I wasn't too aware to have Jalen Suggs on my radar. But I mean, I went back, I looked up some of his stuff. This guy, he was recruited to play quarterback Division I, Tyler. I think he got some looks from I want to say Michigan, maybe, some high up D1 schools. So a true athlete comes down, he said, if you saw a quote that he had after the game, he said he always wanted to be like Kobe and Dwayne Wade, jump up on the scorer's table. He hit that shot, ran right over. It was really picture perfect. And, like I said, instant classic. I think we're in for a good one.
Yeah, no, we definitely are. You think of these games, you're like, when is the other team going to let up? The whole entire time I was thinking there has to be UCLA is going to run out of gas. There's no way they could keep up. Or Gonzaga's, they're not going to keep up either. So there was going to be a lapse in their game somewhere. But the nice thing about that game is there was no lapse. It was just pedal to the metal, all gas, no brakes. And that's why I enjoyed it. I was sitting with my cousin watching it who doesn't watch basketball at all, and he was in awe the whole entire time. And when you get somebody into a basketball game that doesn't watch it, it's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about greats of all, great games and in the history of NCAA basketball, March Madness, it might not have been a double, triple overtime thriller, but one, it went to overtime, and two, both teams are in the 90s, Tyler. I mean, I don't know how many times that's happened. We've had that high of a scoring game. Obviously, in the closing seconds, it was really back and forth. So, I mean, this will be a game they're going to talk about for decades to come when they're watching those throwback films and some of the classic games. I feel like this will definitely be up there.
I saw a tweet that was like, they had a picture of Adam Morrison back when Gonzaga lost to UCLA, and it said, "This one was for you, big man." He was sitting on the court, like his head in his knees, and UCLA just won in the semifinals to go to the finals, and it brought back memories. 'Cause I remember watching that game.
Yeah, another good game as well. Was that
Russell Westbrook?
Did they have Kevin Love? Okay. Yeah, I mean, you look back and at the time you don't really know, but obviously now seeing how good they are at the pro level, it's like, okay, that's a no-brainer. Dave checking in, is Q still in it? No, Q's got bounced out a couple rounds ago. They had a better tournament, I believe, than most people expected, but I think the one guy, Tyler, he declared for the draft, so we'll see what kind of prospects they bring in.
Oh, who declared, Buddy?
No, I thought the other forward there.
Dolage?
I think so.
I mean, he was a senior anyways, so it's not like he could come back. But I mean, him going to the draft is kind of I could see him playing overseas the rest of his career, but not in the NBA. The dude is just a walking slender man.
Yeah. I don't know. You see Giannis, you see KD kind of bulking up there a little bit. Obviously, those guys are kind of a different pedigree, but
they were also 19. This guy's like 23, and he can't add 5 pounds to his frame. So
very true, very true. Maybe he's got to have a kid, get some dad muscles. That kind of solves everything, right?
Drink a few Bud Heavies. Austin can tell you a thing or two about muscle quick.
If you need to bulk, I wouldn't say muscle to you, but if you need to bulk up, you're getting cold, you're anemic, you need to put on some pounds. Bud Heavies, that's the way to go. On the other side of things, Tyler, the women's tournament. Obviously, I don't know if you watched it. I didn't really watch the game per se. Stanford came out with the victory over Arizona, which, I was going to say, I kind of got ahead of myself. As far as men's and women's combined, it's overall been a great tournament, I'd say. UConn, obviously, perennial, at least championship game, attendees. Usually they win it. I'd say you could kind of say if the UConn doesn't win, Stanford is usually not too far behind, who ended up winning it this year. Went down to the final seconds. Arizona had a tough turnaround three-pointer to win. They ended up missing it, losing by 1. But I did not know, Tyler. Did you know that Russell Wilson's sister was on Stanford women's basketball?
Yeah, I found out today. They posted an Instagram post about her.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked, but I'm not shocked because of
just the family, yeah.
Yeah.
And a crazy story, too. I don't know if you saw the same post I did, but she, had a back injury or maybe a concussion, and then she was told she shouldn't play anymore. She sat out her sophomore year, redshirted, came back, got hurt again, and then she started working on more of her defensive aspect of the game, became a really good lockdown defender. And, obviously now it was all worth it. Came away with a national championship. So, I mean, that's just one of those things where you got to really go out and put it all on the line, Tyler. And, if she's got a back or a neck injury and they're saying, okay, you might not be able to walk again after you take another bad hit, and she's out there risking it, that's kind of what you need, I feel like, to have that championship mentality.
Yeah, I mean, a player like that, that your teammates can respect, they understand your backstory, they understand what you've gone through, and then you do things that they're not willing to do, like, say, for instance, dive on the floor for a loose ball. Just little things like that can change the momentum of a game.
Mm-hmm.
But I obviously am not huge into women's basketball. As soon as UConn got bounced, I was kind of uninterested because I was rooting for Paige Buchers to win it all. But congrats to Stanford on the big dub.
Yep, congrats to Stanford for sure.
Arizona too. I mean, hell, that was their first time, I think, ever in the national championship game. Maybe their first time, but Yeah, I mean they're starting to put a highlight on women's basketball. I mean I should probably get into it. It's just I'm usually more focused on other things like men's and
Yeah.
whatnot. But
I can get into the college a little bit. WNBA still a little tough for me to get into, but some people enjoy it. My grandfather used to prefer the women's game.
my grandpa goes to more high school girls games than
Yeah.
he ever did boys games.
Well,
So
it's a lot more of an old school type game, right? There's not as
right.
much dunking and pure athletic ability. They're passing the ball a lot, doing more screens, running more of a half court set. So I could definitely see how that translates to an elder crowd. Dave checking in again. No Mello, no ball game. Will the injury report on her ruin her prospect going forward? WNBA. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe Tyler would know. I don't think she's really a highly touted, next level prospect. Especially now after her injuries, like I said, she transitioned to more of a defensive player. We'll see. Having Wilson as her last name, Tyler being related to Russell, that definitely bodes in her favor. But we'll see what happens. And you did say you were rooting for Paige Buchers. She may not have won the March Madness tournament, but it came out today. She did win the Naismith Player of the Year for the women's, alongside Luca Garza, who won it for the men's.
That's my boy.
I mean, we kind of had this. You saw Paige winning it all year long. Top freshman. She's breaking all these kinds of records. Were you surprised at the Luca Garza?
Absolutely not. No.
No.
Go back to the first episode where we pick our picks. I said Luca Garza, all tournament MVP. I knew he was a baller. Guy probably has one of the best collegiate careers in college basketball history. He's a bona fide stud. I mean, I've been saying, I don't know how well it's going to translate to the NBA. I'm kind of interested to see it. I could see him working with, someone like Giannis, or like a good scorer. He plays off of them, and is like the Batman, or he's the Robin to their Batman. But I'm not surprised. But before we get too far away from it, I do want to go back a little bit. Obviously, tonight is the Gonzaga versus Baylor game.
Yep.
Do you have any picks or any predictions of what's going to happen?
Nah, I mean, I'm kind of on the same mindset as I was a couple weeks back. After we saw Gonzaga kind of power its way through their region, it's hard to go against them as the number one overall seed. And like you said, they got a little bit of more firepower. I feel like they're a little bit better big man presence with Timmy on the inside there. I'm gonna have to stick with Gonzaga.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch because you're going to see Baylor, all defensive team. They're great at, not letting opponents go over 50 points or 60 points, it seems like, versus a Baylor team who, we've been saying is averaging a crazy amount of points for college basketball, 80s, 90s, even scored 100 this tournament. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be back and forth, honestly. And I think it's going to be a game that, people are already predicting, no, Gonzaga's going to blow them out. Gonzaga's going to win by 20. I'm going to predict right now, game is within 3 points. I think it's going to be a close game. Baylor's going to give them all that they can, but I think Gonzaga's going to come home with their first ever national championship.
Yeah.
And it's well deserved. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's any team that deserves to win the national championship, god damn it, it's Gonzaga. They've been so many goddamn times.
They've been so close for so many years. I agree with you. I mean, they've been knocking on the door year in, year out. Crazy good records, countless number one seeds. It's not even like they're just barely getting in. It's another conversation about the conference they're in, but obviously it doesn't matter because they're playing against other conferences in the tournament and still whooping on them. So
right. I agree, and here's what I think. If Gonzaga wins the tournament, Austin, I think they should highly consider going into the Pac-12. I think it would only benefit them even more. Obviously, your record's going to dwindle a little bit, right? Because you're facing higher caliber teams, but, I mean, you're going to get higher value recruits. I mean, yeah, they get high ones already, but you're going to get even more because you're facing those high caliber teams now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of, for me, I feel like it's almost if it's not broke, don't fix it. they've been thriving with this format, at least in recent years. That'd be kind of disappointing if they, switched conferences and didn't really flourish like people thought they might. I mean, it would definitely help probably the university as a whole, right? Bringing in money, stuff of that nature. Recruits, I feel like that might boost it a little bit if they're in a better conference. But I don't know. I feel like they found the right formula. At least until Mark Few leaves, Tyler, I think they should stay where they are because past few years, obviously, they've shown that it's been working.
I agree. Well, speaking of coaches leaving,
Yep.
obviously last Thursday we talked about Roy Williams retiring. We called it on the No Look podcast, or at least I did. Hubert Davis stepping into UNC. They announced today that he's the head basketball coach after being the assistant coach for a plethora of years, it seems like. First ever Black coach in UNC history. I think that's a huge step in the right direction for the program. What are your thoughts on Hubie?
No, I mean, it's a smart decision, congratulations, first and foremost. I was just going to say, I don't know if it's the type of situation where, in the NFL, they get rid of a coach, they promote, the next guy up, the OC or the DC who kind of knows the organization. This seems kind of something along the lines of that nature. He knows the program. He knows, the game scheme. I'd be interested to see what happens in the offseason if they reach out to other players. I know you and I kind of made our, opinions on who we would like to see coach there. But yeah, no, it's great for the organization, the school, for Black coaches, the history of them, to be the first Black head coach in this prestigious university. That's definitely a step in the right direction. So a lot of things are changing in the right way. So overall, good move. Like I said, just be interested to see what happens in the offseason.
No, I think it's a great move as well. I mean, Hubert Davis is a player's coach. I mean, he's going to get a lot of those guys that were going to Michigan or going to Memphis or going to, said school, because it's not an old-fashioned coaching style like you're seeing at Syracuse, at Duke, at UNC, of guys that have been there for that long. I think it's going to be good. I think he's gonna get a lot of great recruits back.
But how do you know about his coaching style? Because he's been under Roy Williams his whole career, pretty much. So if anything, he learned from an old school coach.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, you take what you want from the situation that you're put in. So obviously he's not going to be Roy Williams 2.0. But I know Hubert Davis was on many college basketball programs, as a personality, basically as a commentator. And the guy just seems like a very down to earth person. And I think he was a great player at UNC, and he knows how to be a pro. He played for the Nets at one point, even, I think. So shout out Hubie. I think he's gonna kill it there. Now, would I love to see Vince Carter? Of course. I would love to see videos of Vince Carter dunking on players. Like, if I dunk on you in this play, you have to run a suicide. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, that'd be great if he's still out there schooling the players. You know what would happen. They'd get into some one-on-ones.
100%.
Yeah, that'd be cool to watch for sure.
Jawan Howard's gotten into it. Penny Hardaway. I've seen videos of Mike Miller. I forget what school he's at, but he's been putting on clinics and 3-pointers on kids.
Scalabrini's doing it.
Yeah,
wherever he is.
Why though?
No, I think he's coaching somewhere. I saw. Who knows? I think that's all we got for college basketball. Tyler, even in April, we can't get away from football. Big news today coming out of Carolina. Sam Darnold is now a Panther. What is your first initial reaction? Who do you think won the trade, and how do you think his future goes for the Panthers?
My first initial reaction is that means that Austin will now be wrong, that Deshaun Watson's not going to the Panthers.
Good first initial reaction, because
that
you're right.
was literally my first initial reaction when I saw that trade. Obviously, the Panthers won the trade, I think. Obviously, the Jets are going to go after a quarterback now in the draft, putting them back to where they were 3 years ago. They got rid of or they got draft picks. Maybe they'll pan out, maybe they won't. But I think the Panthers did the right thing. Now they got a quarterback that is going to be protected by somewhat of a decent line, have a fucking stud MVP running back behind him who can catch out of the backfield, be his safety blanket. He has weapons, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore. I mean, a
Curtis
lot of
Samuel got. I think he left. I think he actually might have gone to the Jets.
interesting, but he still got DJ Moore and
Robbie Anderson. Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm pretty sure they got another wide receiver from somewhere else. There's been so many goddamn moves in the NFL.
Yeah.
Forget at this point, but I think it's great. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good move. I agree with you. Panthers, I believe, won the trade as well. Didn't really have to give up too much. I think it was like a 3rd round and a 6th round. Sam Darnold is one of those guys. He's shown flashes of potential. Really tough to thrive in the situation he was put in on the New York Jets. He has some good weapons. Obviously, I like how all these guys. I mean, they're kind of around the same age, Tyler. If it'll be tough. We'll see. Obviously, McCaffrey's been proven that he deserves a paycheck. Robbie Anderson had a good season. DJ Moore, he's been up and down. He's probably got a year or two left on his rookie contract. It might be tough to keep all these guys, but if they can, kind of form some cohesion, get a rhythm going together, I think that could be good. That division, Drew Brees is leaving. Obviously, Tom Brady's still there. We'll see what happens. Atlanta, that's kind of a shit show right now. Obviously, we're not expecting much from them this year. But there's definitely a chance, especially with that extra playoff spot, for them to make some noise, I feel like.
Oh, they got David Moore from the Seahawks.
Okay, yeah, I mean, decent 3rd option there.
DJ Moore, David Moore. I mean, you're not going to get confused, I guess.
You don't need any more.
You don't need any mores. But no, I agree 100%. I think it definitely brings the Panthers up a little bit. Teddy Bridgewater's obviously still not the same quarterback that he was before he got injured. I do love Teddy, but I mean, then this bears the question, Austin, where the fuck is Deshaun Watson going? Well, first off, is Deshaun Watson even going to play football this year with all the allegation charges he has? And second off, if he does, where the hell is he playing now?
Well, I mean, there's obviously a new vacancy in New York, Tyler. Right now, the Jets have the number 2 pick. Obviously, everyone's assuming they're going to go with Trevor Lawrence, 1st overall, Jacksonville. Obviously, you need a quarterback, but yeah, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, right, is the other guy they're talking about. Is the number Zach Wilson? Is like all these guys are pretty decent behind Lawrence, but are they worth the number 2 pick? Me personally, I don't think so. So traditionally, that would be typical Jets pick, right? Overdrafting on a guy just because they need to fill a position. But I think there's still some guys out there in free agency they may be able to lure in. And then maybe, I don't know, they should honestly move back, in my opinion, Tyler. They got a number 2 pick where there might be a team that want to move up, take that pick. If you get, a more veteran quarterback somewhere else in free agency that can kind of fill the gap. I mean, at this point, Tyler, I think the Jets are just going to be rebuilding for the next 100 years because they bring in, Le'Veon Bell, they draft Sam Darnold, they still can't get it done. They get Jamal Adams. He doesn't even want to play for him anymore. He ends up in Seattle. For whatever reason, if it's the front office or just the history of losing within that organization, I don't think people want to play for him.
I mean, I think you're onto something. Why draft a quarterback that high if it's not Trevor Lawrence? I mean, if I were the Jets, why not bolster your offensive line a little bit more? There's great offensive linemen out there. It's not crazy to draft, an offensive lineman that high. So go after like a Penei Sewell. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing the name right. Or someone that works in your scheme. And then, who knows? Maybe a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson sitting in the 2nd round waiting to be picked. I mean, it happens every year. There's a guy that always falls back into the second round. Jets are going to have an early second round pick. So why not help your offensive line or maybe help your defense and then get that quarterback in the second or third round?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just pulling it up right now like a mock draft. Right now they have, this is CBS. They have Zach Wilson going to the Jets at number 2. Mac Jones going number 3. We forgot about him to the 49ers.
That is absolutely disgusting.
I don't know. I'm looking at the free agents as well. So these guys already. So, I mean, some guys still on the market. Alex Smith, AJ McCarron, Robert Griffin. Not much out there, Tyler. There's really no one, actually. I mean, other than Deshaun Watson, obviously. But, yeah, the Jets, they might get their hand forced there at that number 2 pick.
The fact that the 49ers are selecting Mac Jones and they still have Jimmy Garoppolo makes absolutely zero sense to me. You would think that you have Jimmy Garoppolo. Why not put weapons around him or fill positions you need? I feel like the 49ers are just like working backwards to try and be worse since they lost in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what, the idea about Garoppolo around the organization. Obviously, they paid him a lot of money. To me, you still got to give the guy a chance. He's been hurt a lot. But, yeah, like you said, I mean, for me, I'm not high on Mac Jones. Almost a carbon copy, I feel like, of Jimmy Garoppolo. You got guys like Kyle Pitts. Obviously, they have George Kittle. They don't really need a tight end. But Jamar Chase, what's his name?
I'm gonna say this
Waddle.
now.
I mean, there's a lot of weapons, Tyler. Devontae Smith that you can try to help out the guy you already paid all this money to.
Jamar Chase is going to be by far the best wide receiver out of this draft class, I think.
No matter where he goes?
No matter where he goes. I think he's going to be an absolute bona fide stud. Everybody's talking about Smith. Everybody's talking about Waddle because they came out of Alabama winning the championship. Jamar Chase, this dude I think he ran like a 4.32 or like a 4.28 or something like that. And he's a stud. He changes the game.
Is that what happened? Did like his pro day? They didn't have the combine, right? Did he just kill in his pro day? Because I thought Smith was, the number 1 receiver, up until just seeing this list right now.
Well, it's funny because a lot of guys, they're like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this at pro day or I'm not gonna do this at the combine. And Smith was one of them. He didn't weigh in, and that was like one of the biggest deteriorators of his draft stock because people want to know how much he actually weighs, and he says he weighs 170. Now they're thinking, well, does he actually weigh 170? I'm not gonna draft a guy that weighs 165. I weigh 165. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I know for a fact if I was coming around the corner and Jamal Adams hit me, I'd be flying across the field. I can tell you that.
Yeah, you'd be looking like Flat Stanley out there. So, Tyler, again, mock draft. No one knows what's going to happen. Guess where they have Devontae Smith going right now?
The Eagles.
Number 15 to the New England Patriots.
Ooh.
Could you imagine if, the top guy and then someone, just because of his stats, pro day, combine, gets boosted up, and then, Steele falls to the Patriots at 15? That seems kind of on par. It seems kind of on par with just how things go. The Jets are going to overdraft a quarterback, then this stud receiver falls to the Patriots. Oh man, it's like we've been in this spot before, Tyler. We've seen this movie. It's the same outcome.
It's
and
like
I got another fly goddamn flying around my shit. Get out of here.
Definition of insanity. Like
how many years is this going to happen over and over?
I don't know. Obviously, it's going to continue happening as long as the Jets and the Patriots are in the same division.
Yeah. I mean, I guess once Gonzaga leaves their conference and the Jets leave their division, that's when we'll start to see some change around here.
The Jets should just leave the NFL in general. Just
go to the
CFL.
CFL.
Yeah, you have a fan base that's sick of your shit. The NFL is even sick of your shit. I mean, They posted Sam Darnold a week ago on their front headline posts of all their internet pages, and they're like, "Oh, buy your ticket. Sam Darnold's on the front cover. Oh, Jets are gonna come into 2021. Sam Darnold's on the cover." And it's like, what? You can't even keep your staple player, your superstar,
Right. The best guy that they're trying
to promote.
to promote and bring attraction towards, they just ship him off. So yeah, that is interesting. You want to do a little talking baseball real quick, and then I think we got some sports / media news. So talking baseball, Tyler, I just sent you, like I said, the DM earlier. The Texas Rangers, right? First major sports team to have a full capacity crowd since the pandemic. Also, this comes not long after they removed the mask mandate for the state of Texas. So, I mean, you just got a whole group of people out there with no masks. I feel like if nothing comes of this, Tyler, I might have to like switch my view on the whole pandemic and be like, okay, COVID, what happened? Did you just go to sleep? Because you got a bunch of drunk Texans down there with no masks, spitting their dip probably onto the ground, spewing germs airborne everywhere. So if there's no outbreak from this, Tyler, then I don't know.
All I have to say about this is sounds about Texas.
Yeah.
If there was any state that was going to do it first, it was either going to be Texas or Florida. And I'm not surprised Texas beat Florida to it.
Texas is like the new Florida now, I feel like. They're kind of getting a little crazy down there.
I mean, don't count Florida out. I mean,
I say Florida, that and then Florida.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you're aware, but Florida has in Manatee County, which is literally the county below mine, they have a waste / toxic, like, I guess you could call it lake, that they have runoff water go into, about to burst. So, people's houses are going to get flooded with toxic waste and shit like that. And now they're saying it's going to hit a power plant. So if I lose power within this time frame all the way from Manatee County, you know why. I mean, Florida's doing some things too, so don't count them out. I
feel like Florida's like, oh, you don't think we can do worse? Here we go. Hold my beer. Yeah, but
hold my gator.
That sounds like a fucking like Simpsons. I mean, it sounds like The Simpsons. Like they have that whole toxic thing, right, going on. Tom Tucker's kid goes in the water, his head turns upside down. Florida is like a real life Simpsons, so that's kind of crazy.
Honestly, the headlines for each region are of Florida, obviously North Florida, Central Florida, South Florida, Tampa. They're so funny. You get Florida Man, but you obviously don't know where Florida Man's at today.
Mm-hmm.
He could be in Tampa, he could be in Gainesville, he could be in Tallahassee, he could be in Miami. You never know. It depends on what they do. If he's wrestling a gator, he's either in the Everglades or he's in North Florida.
He's up in the Panhandle. Yeah. So Dave wants to know, the Yanks going to go all the way this year. I don't know. One sport that Tyler and I actually agree on as far as favorite teams, baseball. We're both Yankees fans. I haven't seen too much. I mean, I know the Red Sox have kind of gone backwards as far as how good they've been playing. I think they'll win the division, Tyler, but I just think from what I've seen, and obviously you and I are not huge baseball guys, there's a lot of other teams doing some good stuff. More so, I feel like in the NL.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think the Yankees got enough this year.
I mean, the Yankees are clear-cut favorites to win the AL East. I mean, if there's any team that could potentially stop them, it might be the Rays. But I mean, they have an even better chance of winning the AL. I think they're going to the World Series this year. It really depends on how their young guys step up. They have a lot of great guys that came out of the farm system. Gleyber Torres. They just signed DJ LeMahieu from the Colorado Rockies. So their team's legit this year. I mean, they're going to be the Yankees of the past, where they have a great team all the way around. But I mean, the NL, like you said, they got the Dodgers. I mean, the Mets are making moves even. When the Mets are making moves, things are getting haywire in the MLB.
I mean, you got the pitcher on the Angels. He's throwing the fastest pitch so
Oh
far this
yeah.
year, 101, and he also hit the fastest home run at like 115, miles per hour off the bat. So I mean, you get a guy that can do that, pitch and hit. Obviously, in the NL, the pitchers do hit. That's just crazy right there to get a guy in the lineup. I heard Tyler actually. I was over at Jeff's doing some laundry, and I don't usually watch SportsCenter. Don't have cable where I'm at, but I happened to tune in, and they said this is the first pitcher to hit number 2 in the lineup since someone back in like the 1930s. So that's how good this guy is.
No, he's it's Urshoro
Something
or
with an
something
O.
like. Yeah, I know. Actually, I think it starts with a U or something like that. But the guy is crazy. Crazy good. Obviously. Uh, Honestly, I think he's gonna be one of those guys that gets just like a stupid contract. He's gonna have the highest contract in MLB history. I think.
Shohei Ohtani.
Otani, yeah.
Hmm.
Yep, that's it. I think if the Angels don't sign him to a crazy contract, obviously because they have Mike Trout on their payroll, somebody's going to sign him to the highest paid contract in MLB history. I mean, any guy that can hit you a home run while also striking out the side. I mean, you got to give the guy as much money as you got in your bank account.
Yeah. I mean, and we're talking about money. I don't know how baseball teams structure these contracts. We had another crazy contract the other day. It was the Pirates, right? Who did they just...
No, it was the Mets. It was Francisco Lindor.
Oh, yeah, Lindor. It's like, did they not learn anything after the fucking Giancarlo Stanton? Right? The Marlins signed him to like 13 years, $1 billion, and then they ended up trading him to the Yankees. I just don't understand how these MLB contracts work.
Well, I mean,
there's no cap, right, in MLB?
Right. I mean,
They can just shovel it out.
No cap.
No cap.
No, I think you're seeing now MLB contracts leak into other sports, like Patrick Mahomes signing that 10-year deal. That never happened until MLB. I think NHL did it too for a little bit, around the same time that the MLB started doing these crazy contracts. But I think how they do it, Austin, is they do like 10 years of like a salary cap. And then I think they also, in their contract, pay them after they're not playing with them.
Yeah, which makes 0 sense.
I mean, look at that Bonilla guy. The guy's still gonna be paid till 2050. The Earth's crust is gonna be melted, but this guy's still getting a paycheck from the Mets.
That's what I'm saying. The Earth isn't even gonna be fucking revolving around the sun anymore. 10-year, $341 million. Whew. That's a lot of McDoubles from McDonald's there, Tyler.
That's a lot of vino.
341 million of them to be exact, I guess. But all right, I was talking baseball. We'll see what happens.
That was the longest talking baseball in No Look podcast history, too.
I know. Dodgers. Dave says Dodgers breaking out checkbook. Judge can stay healthy. Hopefully, people still playing.
Dave is a Giants fan, not football.
Yeah.
The San Fran Giants fan. So
Couldn't tell.
Dave, when you, I know, right? It's not like he wears a hat every day. Dave, if you want in the chat, I will allow it to be open to voicing your concerns / predictions this year for the Giants. I will allow it. So type now.
Have they even been good since they won the World Series a few years back?
I mean, that's a question for Dave. I honestly couldn't tell you who won the World Series last year. I know the Rays were in it, but I don't know who won.
Put me on the spot.
I don't even know.
No,
I think it was Dodgers, wasn't it?
No, it was someone.
Finally won it.
Yeah, it was the NL. It was the NL. So yeah, it was definitely the Dodgers.
Yeah, because I said the Rays didn't win it, dummy. Stupid.
Oh, I didn't even know they were in the... Get out of here. Yeah, that's talking baseball. Tyler, you want to get into it? I'll let you kick it off. I'm sure you have a hot take. Do we want to show the trailer real quick?
Yeah, actually pull it up. New movie coming out July 16th. It's hot around the sports world. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. You don't think we're gonna get like canceled for this?
No,
right?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's like public, yeah. We're not gonna get canceled, eh?
I mean, my first reaction, you can continue to play it. Why not use LeBron's actual son? The
Right.
dude is a baller.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this kid actually looks like Bryce too a little bit. If they wanted
Yeah.
someone younger, they could have used him. But
Hell, you
I don't
could just
know.
brought Missouri. I mean, that shit would have been cool too.
Was Michael Jordan? Yeah. Are we giving our reactions right now, or?
I mean, we can.
I was just gonna say, I feel like they definitely went out on their own and tried to do something different. We'll see how it pays off. I thought they'd pay a little more homage to the original. You know, it looks like they're kind of doing a Ready Player One type deal, whereas the original one, I feel like they kind of followed Michael Jordan's actual life, right? Didn't they go to his house? They filmed like at his real house. They had his kids and stuff.
They went to his actual baseball game.
Yeah. I mean, you see it here on the screen. You got a cartoon LeBron. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly.
I mean, first off, use their actual kids, just like they did back in the old movie. Especially when you have a basketball family like the Jameses. I mean, Bronny Jr., Bryce, they're probably going to be in the NBA some days. His daughter Zuri's already got more muscle than me in her bicep, and she's like 4 years old. She's probably going to be in the WNBA one day. I thought that would have been a cool way to play homage to, the James family. But then they're adding like this, like outside characters. Like, what the hell?
What
Iron
is this?
Giant,
This isn't
King
even
Kong?
Looney Tune, right?
Yeah, like I want to see Lola Bunny with like, Bugs Bunny, Tasmanian Devil, old school like Space Jam like this right here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch it. Like I said, I feel like they might have strayed too much off the path of the original. Obviously, you got to be innovative. You got to stand out, but I don't know. I don't know. And the thing is, too, Tyler. Yeah, granted, Bryce and Bronny, and if they had the whole family in there, they're not actors per se, but they've been on camera enough. You know, they've been in the spotlight. Obviously, they're pretty well known. I mean, they're probably more well known than this actor portraying his son in the movie. So I feel like it wouldn't, that would have been a smarter move to have them in there.
I will say one thing. It's definitely cool that they added WNBA players. I think
That's cool.
that was pretty sweet. I wouldn't have picked the players that they had picked though, in terms of even the NBA players. All right, I was thinking about this in the shower. I know it's kind of weird, but we were talking about what we were gonna be talking about on today's episode, and I'm like, if I'm putting a team against LeBron James, why not put a team of people that hate LeBron or want to beat him? Put on KD. Put on Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Put on Delonte West. Like, what about Delonte West?
Delonte West. I mean, this guy's still in rehab. You want him to get up for the big screen?
I want him to be on there because he fucked LeBron's mom. I mean, come on. And then you get, maybe they don't even have the best WNBA players in there. I mean, where's Breonna Taylor? Where's Elena Delle Donne? Where's Candace Parker even? I mean, the list could keep going.
Yeah. No, so Tyler, just thinking about it, like you said, definitely a big W to have WNBA players featured in this. If you're going to have a Monstar, or what are they calling them? The Goon Squad this year. If you're going to have some goons in there, which doesn't even, that too. The fact that they're calling them the Goon Squad, I don't feel comfortable saying that because I feel like, that's kind of one of those words where it could be taken the wrong way, referencing anyways. If I was going to have someone from the WNBA portrayed in an animation, and you're not going to put Brittany Griner, I mean, bro, you could have her coming off with like the Medusa snakes, and she's already long, lengthy, like she looks like she could already be out there. So I think they dropped the ball on that one. But yeah, I mean, back in the day, they had Charles Barkley, they had Muggsy Bogues, right? Was it Larry Johnson, some other guys?
Sean Bradley and Charles Barkley.
Yeah, I said Charles Barkley, right?
Oh, Sean Bradley.
I think Larry Johnson.
So it was Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, Sean Bradley, Charles Barkley, and Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, it was Patrick Ewing. So I mean, definitely dropped the ball on like the star factor of who they have. I mean, Anthony Davis, okay, he's a top player. Clay, pretty good. Damian Lillard, all right, not too shabby, but I feel like they could have, like you said, if they had KD in there, if they had Steph, they would have had, a lot more guys with a little bit more all-star appearances, I guess.
I can also see like budget being an issue, getting some of those guys. But I think, like you said, Brittany Griner with the Medusa, you
What
could
kind of
have.
budget, Tyler? They've been filming this for 10 years. They probably
I,
put it on a mortgage. They've been paying layaway.
I'm just saying, there's probably some sort of budget. Warner Brothers hasn't been relevant since the old school Cartoon Network episodes that they used to have with whatever they had. But all I'm saying, then you could get KD. His arms could be snakes because he's a snake. I mean, there's so many different things that you could do with players in the NBA nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, Derrick Rose, a guy who's got
Why was Klay Thompson on fire? Like, obviously, yeah, he's an on fire shooter, but like,
I don't know.
the dude, he's not like, if I'm the Fantastic Five, I'm suing them. That's infringement of
That's
copyright.
Johnny Flame, right? Is that his name?
Or something like that. I mean,
Yeah. Flame on, baby.
Also, if I'm Diana Taurasi, did you see her face? I mean, I would sue them for whatever they put on. Like, she had a fucking cone on her. She was cone nose. She wasn't cone head.
Yeah, she doesn't even have like a beak-looking nose. They gave her a nice big snozzer. But yeah, I don't understand because she doesn't even look like anything different, right? You got Dame Lillard. He's got the clocks on him. Okay, that was kind of cool. Klay Thompson, he's got the flames or whatever. Anthony Davis looks a little different, but like Diana Taurasi just looks like a cartoon version, a poorly portrayed cartoon version of her at that.
Yeah, you got to respect the UConn. I mean, they also had the other girl. I can't think of her name. I thought her character was kind of cool. She had like the little bush on her chest, but
Yeah.
either way, I'm maybe gonna spend money to go out and see it in theaters. I don't know about you, Austin. Depends on how COVID's acting around that time, but I'll definitely watch it. I own Space Jam on DVD. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So we'll see how LeBron does.
Let's see. I'm trying to look up the name.
It's like
They didn't even put her in this article. Who the fuck is this? USA Today? Are you kidding me? It literally has everyone else. Obviously, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, Diana Taurasi. They didn't even put her in there. Oh, they have her name, but they didn't put her character. Neka Akwumike. I'll just butcher names tonight, man. I gotta get off this thing. But
Austin should have a blooper reel of trying to pronounce people's names. I mean, he can't pronounce half of Baylor's team, and now he can't pronounce any of the guys on Space Jam.
I'm sorry. I'm just from Schuylerville, New York. I didn't get too much experience out there. But Tyler, so the biggest W I have on this, and what I'm looking forward to, is Zendaya as the voice of Lola Bunny. I mean, sign me up for that right now. I'm all in. I'm all in on Zendaya. That's my girl.
Big W on Zendaya, big L on the way Lola Bunny looks, obviously. Won't get too much into that, but I mean, also I can see a bug crawling up behind. Do you see it on the screen?
Is it on me?
No, it's crawling up the post in the corner. It's like, if you turn around, it's like right.
These goddamn flies, man, they're gonna fucking swarm and just suffocate me at night one of these days. God damn.
Do you leave the door open in your cabin?
No, they just somehow crawl in here. They smell the sweet nectar pouring out of my pores, and they just want to get closer to it.
You should shut the vents of your AC or something. That's probably how they're getting in.
That might be it. Got the fucking, it's like that one movie, Legion, where they got the locusts and they drive in the whole cloud of them. That's what these fucking carpenter ants, whatever they are gonna storming in. Alright, yeah, I think I'll watch it. It's gonna look interesting. Anytime you do a sequel to a movie like that, Tyler, like the original was so good, so different, so ahead of its time, it's gonna be tough to follow up. But yeah, I mean, my only takeaway, weird with the Goon Squad, right, is what they're calling it. weird with the addition of all these random, cartoons they're adding in there, like Iron Giant. The hell is that? That was
that was a good movie. Everybody thinks
I liked it. It was
Giant.
a sad movie though. Like, what are you gonna make me go back to that memory?
They might.
I guess.
I didn't see Iron Giant dunking no basketball, so I don't know. There might be a sad scene in there.
Gonna start falling apart. They're gonna have to pull the South Park and put some testicles on his kneecaps. Get him back to his original height. All right. Any closing words? We got Monday Night Gaming coming up shortly after this.
What are we playing?
Are you playing?
What are we playing?
I mean, probably Warzone.
Oh, count me in. PKM, bros.
All right, Tyler's back on the PKM grind. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, it's about 8 o'clock now. I'm going to shut this off, get the starting soon for the Monday Night Gaming. Give me about 5 minutes to use the facilities, and we'll be right back.
Love you.